John Muir once said, "The power of imagination makes us infinite." As a kid growing up in northern Maine, I would spend most of my days outside. I would sneak off into the woods to see how far I could get in my wheelchair before I got stuck. Most of the time, it wasn't very far. So I would get out of my chair and drag it until I could keep going again. I used my imagination to see my path forward. I guess you could say, like John Muir, I've always had an adventurous spirit. Early on in life, I did many sporting activities. I wheelchair raced in the Maine Marathon 3 times and won every time. That sounds pretty impressive, doesn't it? What if I told you I was the only wheelchair? I also got into playing basketball with a team in Maine. I even went on to take flying lessons and learn to fly. Most recently, I took on the challenge of scaling the 3,000-foot granite face of El Capitan in Yosemite National Park. This climb required 15 people, 12 people to carry me to the base of the climb, and then myself and 2 others to make the climb. One team member would climb ahead of me and set ropes. I would use a pull-up bar ascender to do pull-ups over and over and over. It took over 3,000 pull-ups to reach the top. I truly believe that nothing is impossible with the right community and a bit of ingenuity. In this time of staying home to stay healthy, it has been tough to see a way forward at times. It makes it even harder for those of us with spina bifida. We often have adaptive recreation programs that we attend. Most of our friends are usually part of that program. Thanks to Spina Bifida Association of Greater New England, we all still have ways to stay connected and move forward together. From the virtual walk and roll fundraiser to the new podcast called the Spina Bifida Report, we have so many things we can do. When this first started, I was a bit afraid to venture out. I wasn't quite sure what my disability meant when it came to the virus. Eventually, I realized I could still find places to go in the wilderness around where I live. I took my drone out to beautiful places to capture images of the scenery. I can still push myself through the woods on trails. I can go for a drive. There are many ways to communicate online. All of these options are right there. I just had to use my imagination to find them. I like to keep myself motivated by using my imagination to look toward the future. I am planning all kinds of adventures for the moment when I can make them happen. Right now, I'm planning to climb Mount Rainier, a 14,000-foot mountain in Washington State. I was also inspired by a recent SBAGNE trip to the Grand Canyon, where members of the community hiked part of the canyon. Because of that inspiration, I'm now working on a trip to hand cycle from the north rim to the south rim of the canyon. Remember, when things get tough, your imagination makes you infinite, and the possibilities are infinite. Plan for big adventures, because this is just a moment in time. We need to be ready to hit the ground rolling to our next big adventure.